If you're not a full-time creator yet, you probably don't have a huge budget or a team of people to help you shoot your content. You see these big channels out here with the best B-roll, top-notch gear, and you wonder how you'll ever get great shots without their level of production. Well, I'll let you in on a secret. All these shots you just saw of me, including this moving shot, was captured with my iPhone. Seriously, I bet you're wondering how I got a shot like this without anyone helping me. And that's a half-truth. In fact, I have AI helping me, and you'll see what I mean coming up. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what you need, how to set up, and actually capture a variety of great B-roll, filming alone with your smartphone. Let's go. The secret to getting high-quality shots while filming alone is a solid gimbal. You can pick one up for as little as 29 bucks, or spend upwards of $210 on a smartphone gimbal with zero accessories. Now, I landed somewhere in the middle because I appreciated the value of kits offered by the Insta360 Flow, which meant less time hunting down compatible accessories. You can snag one of these in Summit White or Stone Gray. Links in the description below. And here's a super quick comparison grid of the kits available. With all kits, you'll get a gimbal and some type of protection, a magnetic phone clamp, a grip cover, and a Type A to C cable. With the Creator Kit, you'll also get a spotlight and more cables for a variety of connections. But if you decide that you have plenty of cables already, I'd suggest the Pro Tripod Kit. This is the one that I use. As the name suggests, it comes with the Pro Tripod, which I pretty much never use the device without, and you'll see why in a few. Now, once you're ready to start shooting, you take your smartphone, put it into the magnetic holder, center your phone, and make sure that the camera icon on the holder is pointing to your phone's camera. From there, grab the Insta360 Flow and swing the gimbal open. You'll feel it notch into place. Then, stick your phone on the gimbal, make sure you line up the notch. You'll feel the gimbal take your phone and swivel it into place automatically. And if it's swinging around all crazy, it's not lined up. After a chuckle, adjust the magnetic holder. For me, the problem is usually that the phone isn't sitting flush, so I just press the bottom of the phone until it does. If you want to use it in selfie stick mode, pull the gimbal neck out from the bottom, and there's also a manual tilt feature that will help you get creative shots like this walking shot. You can pull little tripod feet out from the bottom, but they're not super stable, so I always use the tripod from the Pro Tripod Kit. To mount the Insta360 Flow to absolutely anything, you can tuck those little feet away and screw into the 1/4-inch thread, mount this to a super clamp or a taller tripod. If you need to charge your phone while filming, you can use the gimbal's USB-C port, and there's even a trap door hiding a cold shoe mount for accessories like microphones. That's everything you need to know about the hardware. Let's get you up to speed with the app and talk about the Insta360 Flow's Smart Wheel. So you can go ahead and download the app while the phone is on the gimbal. Just make sure your Bluetooth is turned on and nothing else is paired to your phone right now. The first time you open the app, you'll be prompted to update the firmware, so go ahead and do that now. Once updated, the app will pair your device automatically. You just need to tap the yellow activate button at the bottom of the screen. Now that your phone and gimbal are friends, we can focus our attention to this super handy smart wheel. The joystick in the center of the wheel moves the camera up and down as well as left to right. Under the joystick, you've got the power button. Press and hold it for 2 seconds to shut down or turn on the Insta360 Flow. You can check your battery life by pressing the power button 1 time. That works when the flow is on or off, by the way, pretty useful. Each dot represents 25% battery notch, so if you have 3 lights, you're at 75% battery. Press the power button twice to put the gimbal in standby mode. Moving clockwise, you've got your shutter button. Press it to take a picture or start a video. Pretty simple. When you're done recording, press it again to stop the video. Clockwise across the top brings us to the Uno reverse button. Press it once to flip between your phone's front and rear camera, and press it twice to switch between horizontal and vertical filming. I use this function almost every time I shoot to get footage for both long form and short form videos in the same location, which brings us to If you shoot solo, the trigger is going to be your best friend. It has a natural fit in your grip on the back of the gimbal, and there's a ton of features built into this one button. So here it goes. Pull the trigger once to enable AI tracking. Whatever is in the middle of the frame is going to be what gets tracked. But you can also enable AI tracking by drawing a box around whatever you want tracked. For my solo shooters, I suggest just standing in front of the camera and pulling the trigger. Then give it a little juke and you'll be able to tell if it's tracking you. To cancel tracking, pull the trigger again a single time or tap the X on the green tracking box. If you get off kilter, double pull the trigger to recenter your phone, and pulling the trigger 3 times will flip the phone 180 degrees. There's one more function built into the trigger, and it's sport mode. Sport mode makes the gimbal react faster to your movements, which is great for action shots. The secret combo code for sport mode is pull the trigger once, release, and then press and hold the trigger. Now that's a lot for a single button, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be a pro. All good? All right, moving on. There's a rotating ring around the outside of the smart wheel. As you might have guessed, you can use it to smoothly zoom in and out on your subject, but you can also use it to switch between camera lenses. To do this, twist and release the ring quickly to make the lens jump. Last but not least, the smart wheel itself is a touchpad. There's so much cool tech built into this. Okay, check it out. If you tap and drag across the top of the smart wheel, you'll switch between different gimbal modes, and this works in both directions. This is a great time to clarify that a press should make an audible click, whereas a tap is just a tap, my friend. If you hate that touchpad function, we can switch it up. Just tap the little gimbal icon in the app on your phone, and I'll meet you over in the settings. So we'll skip flow mode for now. Yours probably says auto, and we'll just look underneath where it says custom. You can tap option A and change it to option B, which will change the gimbal mode, switching it from a tap and drag to a double tap on the side of the smart wheel. While using option B, tapping to the left of the joystick goes back to the previous gimbal mode, and of course tapping to the right of the joystick jumps the gimbal mode forward. If you're wondering what in the hell a gimbal mode even is and why you should care, I'll tell you. To get the best shots out of your Insta360 Flow, you need to understand how it moves. That way you and your gimbal aren't working against each other. There's 4 modes in total. Auto will adjust the gimbal for you depending on what it senses is happening in the scene. So if you're running, it'll optimize itself for the bounce and sway, and when you stop, it'll adjust on its own. This makes it super easy to boot up and get stable footage right out of the box. You'll find that the Insta360 Flow defaults to auto. Next on the wheel is F for follow mode. This is great for vertical movements, tilting, panning, but heads up, this mode is more sensitive and will require a stable grip. If you find yourself choking up on the handle, use the little feet as a handle extender and that will help you steady your hand. If you want to get a surround shot, pop into PF or pan follow mode. This locks your pitch and roll access, so only the horizontal motion of the handle affects the shot. The last gimbal mode on your smart wheel is FPV mode. This is your point of view mode, with the pan, pitch, and roll axes all being unlocked, all following the handle movement simultaneously. It also has a secret perk that makes it really sweet. If you want to recreate this shot right here, all you have to do is twist the ring around the smart wheel. But it only works in FPV mode. FPV is also the mode you want to use if you're going for establishing shots, and low angle ones like this can be achieved by rotating the gimbal upside down. Okay, so now you know how your gimbal works, we can take a look at the rest of the need to know settings. Just below the home button on the top left of the app, you'll see your video resolution. Tap that icon to change it. 4K 30 is the best looking while being the most universal. 4K 24 is what you're used to seeing on TV and in movies. I shoot in 4K 24, but most social media platforms only let you upload in 1080p or it downscales to 1080p for you, so really, it's up to you. Any variety of 4K will always produce a larger file and take up more space, but of course looks the best despite downscaling. Below video resolution is a camera icon, which lets you switch from auto to manual focus and tweak your parameters. Back in the gimbal settings, we're skipping flow mode again because I showed you how to toggle between those modes with the smart wheel. Instead, look down to where it says follow speed. This is how quickly the gimbal will swing the camera when it's tracking you. I find the footage shot on slow looks great, but makes the gimbal super annoying to position because, well, the gimbal's moving slowly. On the fast setting, I noticed the footage is a little chaotic because the camera will jerk to keep you in frame. Medium seems to be just right for me personally, but I'll let you know in the community tab if anything changes. You can also adjust the joystick and zoom speeds in here, tweak the tracking settings, calibrate the gimbal, and manually adjust the horizontal axis if you think the gimbal is off. Moving to the 3 dots below the gimbal icon, you'll find toggle switches to turn on the grid. I literally never film without it. And you can also turn off voice command and Shot Genie pop-ups in here as well. Let's talk about the Shot Genie for a sec, actually. To the right of the home button is the Shot Genie. This is another AI feature that will sense your scene and give you tips and guidance on how to get the best shot possible out of that scene. It's great for new gimbal users, and I find it super helpful. Moving right on the toolbar again, you can turn on or off your flash. Right from there again, and you'll find video and face filters if you're feeling fancy. And there's one more setting I have to show you before we get to the shot breakdowns. This is by far the coolest feature and most useful when you're filming yourself alone. Look to the right of face filters and you'll see the gesture control tab. Tap it and tap the left icon to unlock the ability to start and stop recording or take a picture by showing the palm of your hand. I don't even have to tell you guys how many crick necks this is gonna save you. And to save you a bunch of trips back and forth, I suggest you enable the 1-2 punch combo, gesture control and tracking at the same time. Tap the icon on the right in that same control tab. Now that you have a handle on how to use the Insta360 Flow, I'm gonna show you how to get all the shots you need to make a banger video. Speaking of a banger, if this video has given you some value so far, throw it a sweet little thumbs up so it can help other cool people like you. All right, most of you know you need a variety of these 3 shots. The close shot to evoke emotion, the medium shot to emphasize the hero and their surroundings, and the wide shot to give context. With this gimbal, all those shots are simple enough. But how do you get motion into your shots without somebody walking with you? Let's break down the moving shot. The simple way is to pick a spot with solid framing, gesture to start tracking and recording, and then walk into the scene. The AI will continue to track you even if you step out of frame for a few seconds, just don't stay gone too long. The advanced version of this shot is usually achieved by the big channels by using an expensive slider like this one from Edelkrone, coming in at a cool $700. And don't forget the motorized head for an additional $600. Well, if that blows your hair back, I'll show you how to recreate this shot using just what you have around the house and the Insta360 Flow. All you really need is something with wheels and something to weigh down the gimbal. I'm gonna use a suitcase and some blue jeans. And here's what you're gonna do. Position the gimbal, trigger tracking and recording with a gesture, and push the suitcase away from you. Play with your follow distance to get the shot exactly how you like it. That's literally it. In order to spruce up your 3 basic shots, the close, medium, and wide, there are a few non-flow accessories that'll help you get the job done. Links to these will be in the description below. A tall tripod for medium and wide shots to get your gimbal up off the ground. A flexible tripod for low angle and close-ups, overhead outdoor shots. The Lanzi Octopus is great on a budget and comes with a cold shoe mount, but if you need something more flexible and a touch more strength, this Gobi Gorilla Pod 3 offers you 2 cold shoes and can mount almost anywhere. A lot of times you won't be able to use a gimbal with this because it's too tall. So don't spend unnecessarily here if you don't have to. This 1/4-inch screw converter will save you the inevitable connectivity issue when you get a fancy new piece of gear. So far, I've used one to extend a tripod stud, another to fasten a 360 ball head to a magic arm, and a third to attach this gimbal to a super clamp. Now, it might seem dumb, but these little pieces are the hero of my rig. Without them, I'd be up the creek without a paddle. With a super clamp, you can mount the Insta360 Flow to rounded poles and squared fixtures, but my absolute favorite way to use this gimbal is by attaching it to a super clamp and mounting that to a varipole. Using the gimbal super clamp varipole combo, I can get overhead shots, medium shots, wide shots, close and low angle shots, all with varying levels of motion really easily and just by moving the pole around the house. If you want to see a full video on the varipole, I'll link it in the end card. This is a great little gimbal, and you get a ton of features: AI assistance and tracking, plus gestures to make filming alone as easy as possible. Add in the versatility of the 1/4-inch thread, and for all that you get, I think the price is quite fair. A couple of things that would make the Insta360 Flow even better than great would be the ability to save your video resolution and gimbal as a preset. As of the taping of this video, the gimbal defaults to auto mode and 4K 30 every time it boots up, which has caused me to have to retape videos when I discover the issue days later. Not ideal. But other than that, this is an intuitive, fun, extremely valuable piece of studio gear that you can really get a lot of great footage with. So you may have noticed me in these headphones during some of the B-roll of this video. It takes a lot to get me in anything besides a pair of AirPods, so I'll show you what's so special about these headphones and how they've been making solopreneur mode easier in the next week's video. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. I hope you have the best week ever, and I'll be seeing you later.